start our preparation onto Tennessee. Excited about the opportunity to be in front of our fans again. They were unbelievable week one. I expect the same from our group. We're excited about the challenge of playing another AFC opponent, a one-on-one football team. Have a ton of respect for Coach Vrabel and all of his coaches. They do a great job down there. Really, really well coached offense, defense, and special teams. Like every week, the challenge is different, but the challenge is definitely, there are difficult matchups when you talk about facing the Titans, whether it's their defense, their stout front, how they're able to defend in the back end, their offense, obviously with an unbelievable rush attack. We know what they're capable of, really well coached, sound, physical special teams group. So it's a unique challenge every single week. So what we're doing here today is pouring ourselves into the preparation so that we're ready for that challenge. And with that, I'll take any questions.
All right, first question, we'll go to Scott.
Hey, Kevin, did you watch Kareem's workout yesterday? And if so, how did he look to you?
Yeah, I did. And he looked in good shape. As you guys know, there's football shape and there's working out to stay ready shape. So I'm sure he's going to come along this week and we'll see where he is. But he looks to be in good shape.
The way it ended with him last year, he was able to go to free agency. Did you think it was always a possibility that he'd be able to return, or did you kind of move past that?
I think in this business, you never know, really. So, and that's what, when guys leave here, you're always rooting for them. You're wishing them well. And again, in this case, an opportunity presented itself here. Kareem has familiarity in our offense and what we're about. So felt like it was a really good fit.
Thanks.
All right, next we'll go to Tom.
Thanks, Jordan. Kevin, you just touched on the familiarity that Kareem has. How much does that help given these circumstances?
Yeah, I think it's a big deal, Tom. I mean, as you know, when you add players that are free agents, oftentimes you have to ramp them up and get them ready to play. And we have done that. You can do that. In this case, there's obviously some newness that Kareem is learning, but he can pick up things very quickly. So that definitely factored into it.
If I could pivot to Deshaun real quick. You said after the game that obviously there were some throws that he'd like to have back. When you took a look at the film, what did you think of his performance overall?
Yeah, very similar to all of us. Plays, calls that you want back, blocks that you want back, tackles, all those. Anytime you come up short, there's things that you want to do differently. I think that's the beauty of our sport. That's the beauty of playing in this league where you get another opportunity. But I know Deshaun and all of our players want to continue to make plays.
All right, next we'll go to Mary Kay.
Kevin, can you just talk about how I'm guessing that Jerome Ford will continue to be your lead back, and if so, how do you think Kareem will complement him and his running style? Yeah,
I think Mary Kay, Jerome is the lead back, but we have to work through all of those type of things and what Kareem's ready to do this week, if he's ready to go this week and what type of load he can carry and PR strong. So I think we need to work through all of that. But yes, Jerome is the starter.
And what does Kareem bring that's maybe sort of different than Jerome, just in terms of his running style and whatnot?
Yeah, as you guys know, having been around Kareem for a bunch of years, he's a very, very physical runner, slashing style, excellent catching the football. So just brings a really well-balanced skill set to our group.
All right, next we'll go to Cam.
Yeah, and you talked about that familiarity and having to game plan and maybe let it play out as you see what Kareem can do. But how much can you go back to the things that you know about Kareem when you're planning for what he's able to do this week and even just next week, these recent games?
Yeah, I think that's a good point, Cam. I mean, it's a familiarity that Kareem has with our offense. It's also our familiarity with Kareem and his ability, and the run types, the pass types that he excels at. So I think both things in this instance help us.
All right, next we'll go to Jeff.
So just to be clear, Kevin, do you think there's a chance that you could use Kareem on Sunday?
I think there's a chance, but we got to see how this week plays out.
Okay, and when you look at other struggles of the offense. And I guess we always focus on Deshaun, but what can be done to make it better than it was these first two games?
Yeah, I think it takes everybody, Jeff. I really do think we can make adjustments really in all areas to be a little bit cleaner on our technique, be a little bit cleaner in our execution. It's really pretty simple. I think for us, we look real hard at scheme, technique, alignments. I mean, the nuts and bolts of it to make sure that we're doing everything to have a precise attack.
Thank you.
All right, next we'll go to Daryl.
Yeah, Kevin, just a couple of housekeeping things here with Amari, Greg, and Zadarius. Is this more just giving them time to get some treatment, or are you concerned about their availability Sunday?
Yeah, I'm not really thinking past today. This is really more day to day, giving them some time off.
And then just looking at the Titans with Ryan Tannehill and that offense that Mike Vrabel's running down there in Tennessee. Just your thoughts on what you see when you study the film and the challenge they present to you.
Yeah, very, very physical group. Starts with the run game, getting a ton of touches for Derrick Henry, who's as good as anybody as there is. One man can't tackle Derrick Henry at all. You got to swarm to the football. And then they take their shots. They have a great boot action game, a great keeper game, run actions, play action shots down the field, screen game. So everything really is built off their run game, but it's an impressive attack.
Next we'll go to Ashley.
Hey, Kevin, I wanted to ask about DeWand. I mean, I know you talked a little bit about him after the game, but after reviewing the film, how did you guys think he did overall in the tough assignment that he had?
Yeah, I think tough assignment. I thought he performed well. He's got to continue, like all rookies do, just got to continue to get better throughout this season. And I think he's working really hard with the coaches. Like we talked about earlier, every week is different. So you pour out that game plan from last week, and you pour in this week. So that's what he's working hard on. But a young player that I think is just going to continue to get better.
All right, we'll go back to Tom for the next one.
Sorry, I didn't need anything.
Oh, wave them off.
Come on, Tom. All right, next one will go to Chris.
Hey, Kevin, I know Jim spent the last couple of years in Tennessee kind of advising in some sort of advisor role. Just curious, how much do you see similarities between what they're running defensively to what you guys do, what Jim does up here?
Yeah, I'd say that they're pretty different schematically, just where they're built from and some of the core things that they do. Obviously, Jim's influence throughout their time together, Jim could probably better answer that, but I'd say there's probably more differences than there are similarities.
All right, next we'll go to Tony.
Kevin, a little unsure about something. When Ford went down for 4 weeks in training camp, you acquired Jordan Wilkins. Then you traded for Pierre Strong. So why now with Kareem Hunt and why not then?
Yeah, I just think you're always looking at the ways to improve your team, Tony, and based on your team at the moment. Obviously, Nick Chubb being unavailable factored into this decision. And Kareem knows that. And Kareem feels, as sick about Nick's injury as anybody. But this is the situation that we're in, the circumstances. So I think Kareem's excited about the opportunity.
Okay, thanks.
All right, next we'll go to Kelsey.
Kevin, going back to Kareem for a second, with having Jerome and Pierre as kind of younger guys, what is his leadership style? What do you think he can bring in that aspect to help them kind of grow as players?
Yeah, I think with our roster, Kelsey, if you look at it, you have a bunch of different guys in those roles, not just Kareem, really in every single room. There are veterans that have been there, done that, if you will, and can really show the ropes to the young guys, sometimes verbally, sometimes just by doing your job. So I think Kareem, first day in the building, kind of a different first day because he's been here before, but he's really working hard to make sure he can catch up. And then I think the young guys will watch how Kareem works at practice, in particular in the games. He practices hard, he plays hard.
Thank you.
All right, we'll go back to Mary Kay.
Yeah, Kevin, Jed Wills, obviously on the game-winning fumble recovery, he struggled on that particular play, and he's kind of taking a beating all over the place. My question is, with you guys having to commit so many resources, chipping and whatnot to DeWand, did it leave Jed out on an island a little bit over there? And what might you say about his performance that night?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to look back when I'm looking forward, Mary Kay, but it's a tough game. Those moments are going to happen at times. We expect Jed to bounce back. That's a good football player that he was going against, but we're going to focus on the Titans and really moving forward.
All right, and last one to Scott.
Hey, Kevin. Obviously Jerome had that real long run, but what did you like about how he handled being pressed into that bigger role Monday night?
Yeah, I think it's a lot of our young guys, Scott, hear this from me all the time, and it's about staying ready, and because you just never know when your opportunity is going to come. And I think Jerome's been a great example of that, as somebody that works really hard on the field, in the weight room, in the meeting rooms. He's somebody that really is diligent about the preparation, again, because you just don't know when your time is going to come. So I'd applaud him for his preparation and being ready for that moment.
And then Grant had another strong game. Are you seeing anything different from him this year from last year? It just seems like he's making more plays.
Yeah, simply that. I mean, I think with young players, more reps, more plays gives you an opportunity to show what you can do. And I think he's done a nice job.